Even if there isn't a single person in the world who cares about you, believe it or not, there's still one thing that's always been dedicated to you, for you, and has been with you from the moment you were born up until today. Is there anyone who's really trying hard to do something or just living life and feeling really discouraged? Like seriously down? Anyone? This trip, I planned it to send some love and encouragement to everyone who's feeling down, especially those who feel like no matter what they do, nobody cares or pays attention. Especially for anyone who's trying to build their presence on social media, like YouTube, TikTok, or whatever. We all know there are basically two big groups of people who just don't care. The first group is family, relatives, siblings, and friends. The second group is viewers really don't care about us. I've been there. I started YouTube 10 years ago in Fayal. I did collabs and university tours during grad school, trying everything, but nobody was interested. As for family, they'd watch maybe twice if I asked, and friends watched once. After that, everyone got busy. Nobody had time to pay attention to me because no one really wants to pay to watch my videos. Wait, pay? YouTube videos? Do you have to pay for those? It's not about paying money. It's about paying with something even more important, your time. And time is a resource that's way more valuable than money. It's probably the most valuable resource in the world because once time passes, you can never get it back. Why is that? Because the content I was making back then just wasn't valuable enough for anyone to spend their time on it. Honestly, people won't pay attention to you at all until someone actually does. So did I stop back then? Yeah, I did. I quit making videos because people made fun of me, teased me, and on top of that, no one was watching. I got discouraged and gave up. I went back to being a regular journalist or started a company, and then eventually I came back to it, up until now. I went back and watched my first video and thought about why I came back to doing this. But you know what? Over the past 10 years, yeah, it's probably been about 10 years now, I've learned that, oh, if nobody cares, that's actually a good thing. It means I can experiment and try anything I want, just mess around and do whatever, even if it's totally crazy. Just go for it because no one's paying attention anyway. Even the people who criticize or leave nasty comments, they don't even remember what they said to me. They don't even remember what they teased me about. Because after they finish typing out their criticism or insults about us, they just go on with their lives. Nobody remembers, and that's it. Our story doesn't even cross their minds. The only main thing we need to do is just one thing. Set a pin. Because no matter how advanced or high-tech our navigation apps are, if we don't clearly set our destination, nothing can take us to our destination. It's the same with life. If we haven't clearly set our destination, there's no way we'll ever get to where we want to go. And after everything I've learned, some things have made me realize that whatever we dare to imagine and can picture in detail, down to the feelings and specifics, our imagination becomes reality. Imagination instantly equals reality if we can truly imagine it. Clearly, and most importantly, you have to believe. So I think everyone has the right to a good quality of life. Everyone has the right to live happily in this world. But only a few types of people actually get to claim the right to reach their own goals. Only those who take action. At this point, some people might say, hey, but some people just can't handle criticism at all. Some people can't stand the voices of those around them. Especially when it comes from family, like your parents or even close friends who keep telling you, hey, what you're doing is pointless or don't do that. What I want to say is, if you want to live an extraordinary life, you can't just listen to the opinions or advice of ordinary people because they've never experienced real success themselves. So when it comes to choosing whose advice to listen to, you have to consider this. If someone tells you that what you're doing won't succeed, don't be quick to blame them. They're not at fault. Maybe it's our fault for choosing to ask for advice from someone who's never achieved it themselves. What I really want to share is that most of the time, the people who criticize others' efforts, determination, and perseverance are usually those who've already accepted living an ordinary life. Like they just don't care, because people who are self-made millionaires who built themselves up from nothing, they don't mock or make fun of those trying to improve their own situation. For example, big YouTubers with tons of followers, they're not going to make fun of someone just starting their own channel, even if it looks kind of lame at first. Why? Because everyone knows that the first step is never easy. Everyone understands that failure is part of the process. That's the key to success. Now, it all comes down to who can forgive their own failures first, who has the courage to embrace their own failures first so they can learn from them and move forward toward their goals. I'm not saying that I'm already a successful person or anything like that, but what I want to say is if we accept and embrace our pain and have the courage to turn our failures into fuel for our lives, your journey will feel almost miraculous, like you're walking on a magical path, a miracle with life. And you might ask, hey, what if I get discouraged? Will I feel down? Of course you will. Burnout is bound to happen, no matter what. No matter how much you start off with this amazing wow level energy, burnout can still happen. I actually have a method to share about this. I teach younger people who create content in my class, right? They often come to me and ask, hey, Sai, what if one day I get discouraged? What if I just don't feel like doing it anymore? Or I miss my target and don't reach the goal I wanted? Is there anything that can help? So I suggest they try this method. Record a video of yourself, or you can write it down on the day you start, why you started, why you're determined, why you want to do this. Capture those feelings and keep them as a record of your own motivation. This will become a really important resource for you. On the days when you're burned out, when you feel discouraged and don't want to keep going, what you recorded at the beginning will become a key ingredient to help you get through those tough times, so you can keep moving toward the goal you set for yourself. The principle behind this is it's really no different from the same principle investors use when buying stocks in the stock market. For example, life has its ups and downs. When life is down, that's like when you're feeling discouraged, right? It's just like stocks. If you buy shares in a company and the price goes up, but then it drops and you didn't cut your losses early on, and instead you keep holding on to it until it keeps dropping, and then you finally sell, well, that's when you end up taking a huge loss. But who knows? If you keep holding on, maybe next year you'll make a huge profit. So what's the difference, The difference is those are stocks you're holding in the stock market. You never really know the true inside story of the company you're investing in on the stock market, unless you're the owner or an executive there. But when it comes to holding shares in yourself, you're the only one who truly knows whether you can make it or not. It all comes down to your own belief in yourself. Will you keep moving forward to reach that goal, or will you cut off your own opportunities on the days when you feel most discouraged, just so you never get to see the day when you finally push through? When you invest in yourself, you're the one who profits. There's actually a method I've used before on days when I felt really down and just couldn't take it anymore. I hope this method will be helpful to someone watching today. Here it is. Do you realize that no matter how discouraged you feel, no matter how tired or how tough things get, or whatever you're going through, there's always one thing that's been there for you, working hard for you ever since the very first moment you were alive, even when you were still in your mother's womb, up until today, it has never stopped, not even once. It's your heart. Every single day you live, you might never even think about your heart. But I want to tell you, try it. Try feeling your heart. See, it's always beating, right? You can even try talking to it, like, hey, thanks so much for always beating for me, for keeping me alive. All this time. Thank you so much for never stopping, even though I get discouraged so easily. Thank you so much for always being with me. All this time, and I'm grateful. That You made it possible for me to get to this point, to try loving myself with a heart that has never left you. And maybe all that good energy will come back to you too, so we can keep fighting together. Maybe us meeting in this video isn't just a coincidence, but I don't want us to miss out on accidentally meeting again in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or share to support the Money Monster channel. Thank you.